All right, so I want to talk about some big breaking news that just was announced in the past day that not a lot of people are taking seriously. And I believe that going forward, this is going to set a big precedent. And already President Xi and Trump have met here actually in South Korea back in October or November timeframe. And since then, they've been trying to meet. But just now, in the last day, they've announced that they have set the date to be in Beijing on May 14th and 15th. So this comes from Press Secretary Caroline Levitt, who just announced this, and also President Trump on his Truth Social, where he says, quote, "My meeting with the highly respected president of China, President Xi Jinping, which was originally postponed due to our military operation in Iran, has been rescheduled and will take place in Beijing on May 14th and 15th. First Lady Melania and I will also host President Xi and Madam Peng for a reciprocal visit in Washington, D.C. at a later date this year. Our representatives are finalizing preparations for these historic visits, and those are capitalized. I look very much forward to spending time with President Xi in what will be, I am sure, a monumental event. Again, capitalized. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump." And one of the most interesting things about this is that the media is painting and juxtaposing Xi Jinping and Trump as being enemies, and also with all of this Iran and Venezuela situation, that things have turned sour and that they cannot cooperate and all this stuff. But of course, nothing can be further from the truth because of what they've done in this past year and how they're meeting. Now, if they were at odds, they would not be going into each other's countries. And so this whole narrative with regards to, China versus the US and all this stuff, yes, there's competitive and all this other stuff, but the fact that it's not like what it is with Iran versus US or whatever it is, with the leadership at least, not the people, all of this is being falsely projected as being this juxtaposition when in fact they have been cooperating. And so remember, one of the famous drops that Q posted is post 140, where he says, if you go down a little bit, what if China, Russia, and others are coordinating with POTUS to eliminate the New World Order, NWO? And then I was reminded of this post 1081, where an Anon posted, Putin is Russia's president. His job is to look after the Russian people. Put yourself in his shoes. He wants to win. Why not take advantage of his enemies? Trump comes along. Russia/Putin becomes our ally. Xi becomes our ally. Xi and Putin are also under attack by the deep state, which is rooted globally. And then Q responds by saying, POTUS never telegraphs his moves. Think logically. Why did POTUS announce his intention to pull out of Syria? Moves and counter moves. These people are stupid and sick. Q. And so whatever is happening with regards to this meeting, maybe it's a wrap up after they've agreed to certain deals, possibly before or prior to this whole geopolitical shift with the Middle East and South America, that they've agreed to something. And now some of the power dynamics are shifting and you're removing some of the chess pieces, which namely could be that deep state stronghold. And so again, who knows exactly what those details are, but I would love to see and know what your comments are down below. If you have any connection, especially with his post, some of these words are capitalized. I don't see any misspellings, but there's many other clues that he drops, right, that are comms for us. But more importantly, as this war and all of the stuff that's happening has delayed this inevitable meeting, now surely maybe there's going to be some closure by the time it gets to May, mid-May, which is about a little less than 2 months from now. So we'll see what happens. But just wanted to bring this to you guys' attention, bring it on the radar, and just know that officially it's been set. And we are in anticipation to see what that meeting is about, but also just all the other stuff leading up to it, because it could be a bow on top of just everything that's happening and wrapping that up before getting over there. Because if things get worse in some sense, especially with the economic, the oil stuff, and just trade, then it's going to be a little shaky to meet in mid-May, and also ruin in some sense chances for re-election, especially with the midterms and all this other stuff happening, and also in China. And so a lot of things possibly may be finalized. It may come to a closure. There may be good sort of results prior to going into this meeting, this historic meeting. And a lot of the White House, the press secretary included, as well as Trump, many others, have called this a very historic moment. So something is happening behind the scenes, but also when they meet, something will be probably announced, portrayed, maybe optically, and then also with all of the other secret war stuff going on, there may be moves and counter moves, as Q has mentioned. So let's see what happens. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Would love also your guys' prayer, your support, continued support. You guys know I am listener supported. I'm also in need of help financially, especially with my ministry and everything going on behind the scenes. If you guys want to support me, my link is down below, givesendgo.com/chrisyoonyt. Would love your guys' support. Thank you guys so much. More videos are to come. Stay tuned. Talk to you guys very soon.